On Sunday, we have the Super Bowl. The San Francisco 49ers are going to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, oddly enough, the number one thing I'm most excited to watch on Sunday is actually the 49ers defensive line. They are a dominant force. They got 9 sacks in 2 playoff games. They sacked Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins 6 times in the divisional round of the playoffs. They also sacked Aaron Rodgers, the Packers quarterback, 3 times in the NFC Championship game. But they don't just get sacks. They constantly disrupt everything an offense can try to run against them. They are so frustrating to play against, partly because they have 5 former first-round picks on their defensive line. They have Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, Solomon Thomas, but they also have Dee Ford. And Dee Ford used to play in Kansas City, but the Chiefs didn't want to give him a long-term contract worth a lot of money. This is kind of a revenge game for Dee Ford. I cannot wait to watch how he does. So the 49ers defensive line is terrifyingly good. But that's why my number 2 thing I'm most excited to watch is the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. Yes, he won the MVP last season, and yes, he's got a ton of ridiculous stats. And despite the fact I feel like all the sports media does is drool over how good Patrick Mahomes is, I still somehow think that casual football fans don't understand just how incredible of a quarterback he is. I called the 49ers defensive line a dominating force. Patrick Mahomes is an equally dominating force. In this Super Bowl, we are getting a true clash of the Titans. And no, the Tennessee Titans are not involved. We get that 49ers defense against the Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, and I cannot wait to watch. Patrick Mahomes is an incredibly gifted quarterback. He's got the best arm in the NFL, but he's also probably the best quarterback, period, in the NFL. That's because a defense can do everything right. They can make the right call. They can be in the right spots. They can play great coverage. And yet he will still find a way to beat you. Either he can make an impossible throw that nobody else can make into a really tiny window, or he will use his legs to create a big play. He can run for yardage. We saw that multiple times in the AFC Championship game against the Titans. Patrick Mahomes ran for yardage. He even ran for a long 27-yard touchdown. But he can also run to extend plays and then throw the ball downfield. This is where, if I was a 49ers fan, I would begin to feel a little bit nervous. That's because Russell Wilson, the Seattle Seahawks quarterback, gave the 49ers trouble both times they played him with his ability to run around and extend plays. Patrick Mahomes can do the exact same thing. I've talked about how great the 49ers defensive line is at getting pressure on a quarterback. But Patrick Mahomes is equally great at escaping pressure and creating big plays. It is going to be such a blast to see who wins that matchup. Now, the number 3 thing I'm excited to watch is the 49ers quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. Many people have written him off recently. That's because the 49ers have a great running game. If you want something to look for on Sunday, watch the way the 49ers use a lot of motions and pre-snap movement to create better matchups in the running game. And man, they run the ball really effectively. In the NFC Championship game, the 49ers running back Raheem Mostert stole the show. He had 29 carries for 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. The 49ers were running the ball with ease. And as a result, they didn't need much from their quarterback, Jimmy G. For some reason, people see this as a weakness. They look at Jimmy Garoppolo's stats from the last 2 games, and they say he must not be very good. These people have short-term memories. They forget the numerous occasions throughout the regular season where Jimmy Garoppolo made big plays in big moments. In fact, he was at his best in the big moments throughout the year. The most memorable of these moments was Week 14 at New Orleans against the Saints. The 49ers went to New Orleans, to that dome, and beat the Saints on their own turf 48-46. Jimmy Garoppolo won a shootout against future Hall of Fame quarterback Drew Brees. And it came down to really which offense could score more points. And in that game, the 49ers came out on top. Oh, and by the way, for you stats nerds out there, Jimmy Garoppolo had 349 yards passing and 4 touchdowns in that victory. Now, this leads me to the 4th thing I'm really excited to watch, which is, in fact, the Kansas City Chiefs defense. They're the guys trying to stop Jimmy Garoppolo. And they improved tremendously over the course of this season. They really bought into their scheme, and that says a lot about their defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo. He was actually the Giants' defensive coordinator in 2007 when they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. This is the second time he's gotten a group of NFL players to fully trust in him and buy into his system. And because of that, the results have been really, really big in Kansas City. The Chiefs' defense dramatically stepped up and improved at the end of this year. Now, the fifth thing I'm looking forward to watching in this game is the fact that the two best tight ends in the entire NFL will be playing on Sunday. You have Travis Kelce for the Kansas City Chiefs and George Kittle for the San Francisco 49ers. Let's start with Travis Kelce. He's an incredible receiving tight end. He's easily one of Patrick Mahomes' most dangerous weapons, and he will have an impact on Sunday. Look for him to have a big catch or two down the stretch in this game. Now, George Kittle of the 49ers is also an outstanding tight end. He makes a lot of big plays for the 49ers. He's a gigantic part of their success. Now, the thing he never seems to get credit for is his ability to block. George Kittle is a really important part of the 49ers running game. Don't forget that. He may not put up gigantic receiving numbers on Sunday, but he will have an impact one way or the other, whether he's catching passes or blocking and helping the 49ers running game. Now, the number 7 thing is that I want you to pay attention to Richard Sherman. He plays corner for the 49ers, and I'm really curious what kind of an impact he will have on this game. The Chiefs have a ton of speedy receivers. Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson. The question is, will the Chiefs avoid throwing towards Richard Sherman during this game? He's a veteran. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, multiple Pro Bowls, but he's also 31 years old. Will the Chiefs treat Richard Sherman like just another guy, or will they avoid him and pick on someone weaker with a different matchup? Finally, we're left with this. Both teams have had incredible runs. In fact, I really have a hard time deciding who I want to root for and who I think is even going to win. The Chiefs have only lost 4 games all year, and the 49ers actually did them even one better. The 49ers have only lost 3 games this year. The reason why these two teams are so good is partly due to their coaches. The 49ers are coached by Kyle Shanahan. He's a young guy. He's 40 years old. He's only been a head coach in the NFL for 3 years. But he has been to a Super Bowl before, and he has actually lost a Super Bowl before. He was the Falcons' offensive coordinator when the Falcons lost to the Patriots. In fact, when the Falcons had a 28-3 lead against the Patriots, they blew the lead and they lost. Now, in spite of all that, there's that narrative about Kyle Shanahan. He's the guy who blew that lead. But I believe the Chiefs coach Andy Reid actually has even more to lose if he doesn't win this Super Bowl. Right now, the Chiefs have star quarterback Patrick Mahomes. What that means is you can't make an excuse if they lose. It means Andy Reid wasn't good enough as a coach. At least that's what people will say. And Andy Reid is fighting for his reputation. He's been an NFL head coach for 21 years. He's never won a Super Bowl. 21 years as a head coach. He's won 207 games. No other NFL head coach has won that many games or more and not won a Super Bowl. It's kind of a stain on Andy Reid's resume. And if the Chiefs lose, Andy Reid will be known as the guy, a great coach who could never win the big game. Now, personally, I don't think it's going to matter. I think the Chiefs are my favorite to win. I just believe far too much in Patrick Mahomes and his ability to take over games and just make magic happen. But I do believe that from top to bottom, the 49ers have a better roster. It's one of the most evenly matched Super Bowls I can think of in a long time, where I'm really not sure. I lean the Chiefs. If I had to pick a choice, if someone had a gun to my head and say, Zach, who's going to win? I'd say it's the Kansas City Chiefs. But I really just hope we get a wild game that's close at the end in the fourth quarter, because I just want to enjoy it, man. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. Enjoy the game. I can't wait to talk about it on Monday, and I'll see you on the other side.